Leah Hickman was a 21-year-old broadcast journalist student, attending Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia. She had big ambitions to be a TV news reporter, and at the time of her disappearance she was living with her half-sister, 25-year-old Jessica Vickers, in an apartment on 8th Avenue. Leah had attended Ohio Valley Christian School, before graduating Christ Academy in Point Pleasant. She was fondly thought of by those who knew her, and she enjoyed TV shows such as Friends and Arrested Development, as well as spending time with her loved ones. Leah was last seen on December 14, 2007 by her half-sister. That evening Leah signed into her MySpace page, then called a friend to say she was going to McDonald's. The receipt for this was later found in her home. Jessica Vickers last spoke to Leah that night, when the 21-year-old had been washing dishes and told Jessica about her new university schedule, and the grades she'd received for the semester. It seemed that Leah was extremely happy with her life, and with how school was going. The next day, on December 15th, Jessica came home to find that Leah's keys, purse and car were there, but the student herself wasn't. Her employer of 5 months, Dress Barn, reported that she had not turned up for work that day, something which was highly unlike her. With nobody able to reach her, the family began to worry. Ron Hickman, Leah's father, was hit especially hard by the disappearance of his daughter. Ron resided an hour away in Point Pleasant, but drove through with his sister and a preacher, Tozark, Leah's home. Leah was Ron's only child, and the pair were extremely close. On Monday, December 16, 2007, a missing persons report was filed with the Huntington Police Department. Law enforcement and search parties canvassed the area, while Dress Barn put up a $10,000 reward for any information that led to Leah's whereabouts. A week later, on December 21st, just days before Christmas, Leah's body was found stuffed in the crawl space under her apartment building. Her body wrapped in plastic. It was determined that she had been murdered, having died from strangulation. The apartment complex's crawl space could be accessed through the communal laundry room, and via each of the 4 units in the building. 2 of the units in the apartment were unoccupied, with Leah and her sister residing in the 3rd. The 4th unit was occupied by a man who had a solid alibi, confirming that he was out of town when Leah was killed. Early on, police had a suspect in the case, someone who was not publicly named. They stated they were trying to gather evidence, so they could build a case against this unidentified person, believing this was not a random act of violence, but was carried out by someone familiar with the apartment block and Leah herself. Tips about Leah's murder flooded into the Huntington Police Departments. Friends and family hung flyers around the city, appealing for information. The weekend before Christmas, Dress Barn closed its doors, hanging a sign that said they had closed out of respect for their former employee. They also covered the costs of Leah's funeral. Trace evidence found at the scene was sent to Phoenix, Arizona, for DNA testing in 2008, and in 2009, the results came back, but they yielded no answers. Around this time, police said they still had some evidence and planned to use it when technology advanced further, hoping that one day it would lead to answers for Leah's family. Over the years, many members of the police department have assured the public and the family of Leah that her case is not cold and has not been closed, but it seems clear that progress has slowed considerably. Many online sleuths have criticized the investigation and expressed dissatisfaction with the police work showcased by Huntington Police Department. There is much speculation, both online and among the local community, that Jessica's ex-boyfriend was responsible for the murder, as he blamed Leah for the fact that Jessica had broken up with him. Allegedly, he and Leah had never got on. There are also many rumors floating around about Jessica helping this man to cover up the crime, and that the plastic wrapped around Leah was from either Jessica's work or the ex-boyfriend's work. None of these postulations has any evidence to back them, however, and appear to be simple speculation. For the years after her murder, Leah's father continued to meet up with Lieutenant John Williams once a month for updates on the case. Even though Williams has now retired, he and Ron continued to keep in touch. In an article from 2019, Ron Hickman told of how his daughter left impressions on people. He said that even in recent years, he still has people approaching him to tell him how helpful Leah had been when she was alive. In one interview with NBC News, he said, quote, "She left such an impression on people in such a short amount of time. Imagine if she had gotten to live her whole life." But despite an ongoing police investigation, the murder of Leah Hickman remains unsolved.